The finance minister is confident about a solution to the Clico debacle. Redjet gets a financial boost. And in sports, Trinidad and Tobago whips Barbados in their World Cup qualifier at the National Stadium.
With the compliments of Goddard Enterprises, those are the headlines of tonight's edition of the Evening News. Next on CBC.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. This is the CBC Evening News. There is an air of quiet confidence tonight that a solution will soon be found to the Clico issue. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says he has met with the judicial managers of Clico in a bid to try to resolve the matter. He says government is working towards that solution without a lot of noise and fanfare and in an orderly manner. According to the Finance Minister, when they are free of any limitations by the court, they will report directly to Barbadians.
We're working to an orderly resolution of the issue. As you know, there's a complicated matter. It involves not only interests in Barbados, it involves interests throughout the islands, particularly the OECS islands. We have a very good team working along with the judicial managers, whom I must say have really put in quite a bit of work in the last few months. We're happy about that. They've made their submissions to the court, the additional submissions I'm sure they will be making.
Mr. Sinclair says the team working on a possible solution includes representatives of the Central Bank, the Ministry of Finance, the Caribbean Development Bank, and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States.
It is not in the interest of that company for people to stop paying their premiums. When I checked my salary slip last month, the premiums were deducted. I have not stopped mine. And I think people should be smart enough to understand the very sensitive nature of what we're dealing with and continue to pay their premiums. No premiums, no company. No company, stress. So I think the options are very, very clear.
This morning, Barbados and China signed 4 agreements totaling 16 million Barbados dollars. The signing ceremony took place at government headquarters. It will facilitate the implementation of technical assistance and cooperation between the two states. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair initialed the accord for the Barbados government, while China's ambassador to Barbados, Wei Chang, signed on behalf of Beijing. Mr. Sinclair says Barbados and China have already agreed that they will be replacing the scoreboard at the gymnasium.
The second area is in the facilitation of the Chinese language being a major part of the learning apparatus within Barbados with the exchange of a Chinese language teacher between the government of Barbados through the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Management and also with the University of the West Indies and the government and people of China. And other areas of cooperation were identified for which it would be possible for at least 20 million won to be spent in resources within the Barbados economy and society.
Mr. Sinclair believes the accords will help to enhance the mutually beneficial relations between the two countries. He says Barbados is benefiting from a part of a Chinese package of preferential loans to the Caribbean over the next 3 years.
Those projects were to be spread over a number of areas, but particularly to offer technical and or other support in terms of inputs into both the productive process but also into the build-out of infrastructural projects which themselves contribute to the development of the regional economy. The procurement of goods and services, predominantly from China, but not exclusively. The procurement of technical advice in areas such as agriculture, in production, in tourism, of course telecommunications, and other areas of immediate developmental concern to the region.
China's ambassador to Barbados, Wei Chang, says he's pleased with the agreements, noting that Beijing is also excited about South-South cooperation. He says that Barbados and China have enjoyed warm relations since 1977, and that the two states are looking to further enhance their cooperation.
We are very much committed and we are determined to continue working hard to deserve this name of the Chinese embassy in Barbados, which is an entity supposed to shoulder ably the important task to promote, to deepen and expand the very traditional and successful and very cherished by us this long-standing relationship between China and Barbados.
The ambassador believes there are opportunities for Barbadian business people to explore in China, adding that he's heard of success stories in the area of fashion designing.
Both the government of China and the government of Barbados attach greatest importance to our to enhancing and strengthening constantly our traditional relationship of friendship and cooperation that has been over the years quite successfully carried out and promoted.
Shareholders of Red Jet are putting substantial sums of money into the operations of the regional carrier. This was revealed by the airline's Chief Executive Officer Ian Burns during a media conference this morning to address the recent cancellation of flights. Damien Best reports.
Regional carrier Red Jet says sorry to all passengers affected by the cancellation of flights from August 21st to September 2nd. This was due to a mechanical problem with one of its aircraft. 953 passengers were affected, with 771 getting refunds, while 182 traveled on other regional carriers. This was further compounded by a delay in approval for a backup aircraft from the United States and the late arrival of parts. Chief Operations Officer Kevin Dudley has described the mechanical issues as a complex hydraulic problem.
We did everything we possibly could. We replaced many parts. As Ian mentioned, some of those took some time to come in from the USA. And unfortunately, it was just one of those defects that took a long time to fix.
Chief Executive Officer Ian Burns admitted that their call center was overwhelmed with inquiries. This is something the company is working to improve.
We have had to re-evaluate our call center and the capabilities and the capacity we have there. We're in the process of upgrading that in terms of numbers of people, in terms of lines available, and we're working very hard to get those things right. But they just don't happen overnight, because obviously the facilities where we are, we have to look at that. We have to look at the infrastructure in terms of additional lines, and we actually have to obviously train people.
The future for Red Jet, however, looks very bright, as Mr. Burns revealed plans to spend $6 million to expand the fleet.
And we can announce that we have 2 additional aircraft with an option for 2 more. We have one that's due to come in December, and a 4th one to come in Q1 of next year. They're exactly the same aircraft, MD-82, from American Airlines, all with 149 seats. And these will create over 75 new jobs in Q1 of 2012, and another 75 in the latter part of 2012. And these jobs will primarily be in 47 in sales and administration, 25 pilots, 48 cabin crew, and 30 in maintenance and engineering staff and ground operations.
Mr. Burns also says the response to the service from Barbados to Guyana has been excellent, and over the next couple of months there will be an increase in weekly flights from 2 to 7. 6 additional routes, including Panama, will also be added. Damien Best, CBC News.
Thieves broke into the Costa Mall over the weekend, leaving store owners there amazed at the way the crime was committed. Damien Best has the detail.
5 store owners in the Costa Mall are upset that a thief or thieves managed to break into the Bridgetown location. When a CBC team visited the mall yesterday, store owners were assessing what items were stolen from the location over the weekend. The thieves made good their entry into the mall, reportedly climbing through this window in the women's bathroom using a rope. But it wasn't as simple as you may think. The thieves had to unscrew a wrought iron grill before gaining entry. Once inside, the individual or individuals climbed through the roof of the bathroom, then into the stores, careful not to raise any alarms. The store owners, who preferred not to go on camera, said money and jewelry were taken. Damien Best, CBC News.
Thanks, Damien. Police Commissioner Darwin Doughton says there is no runaway situation with crimes committed by deportees. He says just over 1,000 people have been deported to Barbados over the past 5 years. 42% came from the United States, 25% from Canada, and 11% from the United Kingdom. According to Mr. Doughton, there is no difference in the offences committed by these deportees and general crimes in Barbados.
Of all persons charged with crime in Barbados during that period, over the last 5 years, 2.3% of those persons were from the deportee population. 2.3%. Generally over the last 5 years were from the deportee population. And the further analysis does show that the crimes that they commit, the crimes that deportees commit, mirrors almost exactly the general offender population in Barbados.
Mr. Doughton also revealed that the force is facing a communications battle with the social network site Facebook and BlackBerry Messenger.
If the social network sites are being used in a particular way, I think that we have to counter it. And sometimes, I hope that I'm not being unfair, but sometimes I feel that some people who go on these sites and use them, they would like to see Barbados in a state of siege. You look at some of the things that are on the sites and you wonder the motivation for saying these things.
Government is looking to construct a new daycare centre in the vicinity of the Harbour Industrial Complex. Minister of Family Stephen Lashley says it is part of government's plan to make the facilities more accessible to parents across the island. Minister Lashley made the comment last evening during a groundbreaking ceremony for the Nightingale Complex at Black Rock, St. Michael.
This is a venture that I believe all businesses within the catchment areas should support financially and of course support in other intangible ways, because indeed it will redound to their own benefit, because once of course parents are able to have access to daycare within that area, our businesses in that area will be more productive, because of course our parents will spend more time dealing with the immediate work tasks while knowing that their children are being looked after.
The minister called for more public and private sector collaboration in the interest of the development of the island's children.
We feel that this project, which we want to see happen fairly soon, is a project that all of the businesses within the Bridgetown area who will be immediate beneficiaries of this project should come on board with us and help us to make it a reality. Once again, a heartfelt thanks to the Barbados Children's Trust for helping us